So here we are in the start branch, and we can see that nothing's really hooked up, nothing works. We do have all these updates coming in on the side, but that's mostly due to just transitions. If you look over in the code editor, you can see all of the components that we have. So we have the main app, we have cards, we have an individual card, we also have checklists, and we have the controls. Something I want to point out now is the custom profiler. So basically that's taking React's profiler and just doing some simple little console logging. So it's letting us know which number update it is. We can know how often it updates, the actual duration that it took, and the base duration, which is basically just an estimate of how much work it would take to create the entire subtree of wherever this is called. So we go back into app, we can see that that custom profiler is at the top level. And this is just going to help us to determine how well this application is performing. So where is this data coming from? That's the first question. Well, if we go into cards, we can see that we're importing data from fake data, and we're just mapping it across here. That's not really going to work. We need to kind of pull this higher up because we need to be able to have the controls affect the data. So we're gonna pull this higher up and actually hook this up to the state, because that's really the only way we can get this working. So we're going to cut it here. This is going to break everything, of course, and then we'll import it here. I want to actually name this fake data as well, so it's a little more clear. And then let's call this items, because I think that's also more clear. Data is a very general term, and when we're actually getting to the API of the individual components, it's nice to make it a little bit more clear. So we're going to say the cards contain items. And so if we go into cards, we can pull out those items here, and then instead of data, we'll be mapping over items. Let's save, and we should get back to where we were. Great. Of course, nothing is working still, so we still have a little bit more work to do. So we need to pass down a couple callbacks to be able to have all this stuff change and everything. And in order to do that, let's just add some placeholders for now. So we are going to need a toggle choice placeholder, and that's going to be for when we actually hit the checkboxes. I'm going to go ahead and copy this a couple times. We're going to need an add item. We're going to need a remove item. We're going to need to be able to reverse the list, and we're going to want to be able to reset the data. So these are all the simple callbacks we need. I'm making them no ops right now, or no operation functions, so that they won't actually do anything. We'll hook up the logic later, but for now, let's just pass it down. So the first one is toggle choice, and this one is going to go into the card. So we're going to pass it down. We don't know if these are going to take any parameters or what yet, so we'll just kind of follow the paper trail and see what happens. So if we go into cards, we can see that, okay, the card probably needs it as well. We actually need to pull that in because it doesn't know where that's coming from. And if we go to the individual card, we can see that it also needs to be passed in. So toggle choice, and then it's going to actually need to be passed into the checklist, because that's where we're actually going to be toggling each choice. Again, we don't know what parameters it's going to take, so we're really just passing it down and going to figure out the implementation details later. So last one right here, and then we can actually see there is an on-change handler. It says to do add toggle item logic, so that's a great place to add this. So we'll just put it in there. It's probably going to take some parameters. We need to tell it, what it's toggling and whatnot. But again, we're just putting these kind of placeholders there for now. All right, great. So all the rest of these are really going to go into controls. So we're going to have we're going to have reverse list. We'll do that one first this time. Then we're going to have add item. And I can actually duplicate this a couple times. We want remove item, and we want reset data. All right, great. We're also going to need an isReverse flag, because we need to be able to tell whether or not we just reverse the list or not. We need to kind of keep that in sync with the actual order of the list itself. So we're just going to make this false for now. We'll come back and change that. You can go ahead and copy all of these, go into controls, and add these as the props that come in. The easiest way to do that is like this. We'll go ahead and delete all of those, add some commas, and we should be good to go. So right here, what is this? Is the switch that reverses it? Okay, well, we probably want the reverse list there. That's why I added that first. And then, of course, we're going to need to actually see whether or not it is reversed. And I like to throw these, oops, not like that, but down there, the checked and the on change down there. All right, we've got the add item. So of course, we're going to want to add item. And then we have the remove item. So we'll add that one as well. Finally, we've got resetting the data. So reset preferences is the same thing as resetting the data. All right, great. So we passed all this down and nothing is broken, so that's good. If we throw, console log here, we can see that when we click this, it shows up. So that's a good sign. Delete that.